Hi everyone, I'm Mark Cheverton, and I asked you to send me your questions and I'll answer anything. And I got quite a few questions, and so I'm going to go ahead and answer them. Let's see, Camden asks, did I think the Game Night 999 series would take off when it did? And in fact, I was quite surprised when the Game Night 999 series took off, because before those books, I wrote 4 other novels, science fiction ones, actually. Science fiction and fantasy is really my first love in reading. And I tried to get those 4 books published, and it was a catastrophic disaster. I mean, no one would publish them. Nobody would even read them, because it's really hard to get published when you haven't published anything. It's very, very difficult. So I found that I couldn't get those published at all, and so I figured maybe I'm not that good of a writer. And so, I spent time reading books on writing, on how to do dialogue, how to do plot. I tried to improve, but didn't do any good, apparently. And they were a complete flop. So when I wrote Invasion of the Overworld, I wrote it, as many of you know, because my son was bullied while he was playing Minecraft. And so I wrote it to teach him why it wasn't his fault. And he got it after we read the book. Yeah, okay, those kids were just jerks. And so I published it, self-published it on Amazon just for fun. And at the time, there were no other Minecraft novel. Oh, there was one. There was one other Minecraft novel on Amazon. And so mine just, they took off. And I got a professionally made cover made, and then it really took off. And in December, I think it was, of 2013, maybe? I'm not sure. I think it was that. It reached number 29 on Amazon's top 100 for all books, which was super exciting. And that's when a publisher and an agent called me. And the agent said, "We'll represent you." I said, "Great." And the publisher said, "We want to print your books." I said, "Super great." And so then I ended up writing 24 Minecraft novels, and they've been published in 31 countries around the world, and there's almost 2 million copies in print. So it was a pretty good outcome. It's kind of ironic that it was such a great outcome from such a tragic event that happened to my son. Very strange. Let's see. Rippon and Cole and Ronan and Jack and Chase and Lisa and Jenny and Bill, a bunch of people ask, will I continue the Game Night 999 series? That's a question I get a lot. And at the end of the last Farlands book, I had Game Night 999 appear. And he says, "I'll see you in the future," right? A lot of people have been bugged by that comment because they want to know, what does that mean? And so I had planned on writing another book with Game Night and Watcher together. But the publisher didn't really want any more Minecraft novels. And partially because, well, not partially, completely because there were so many Minecraft novels on the market right now that none of them are selling very good. Unless you're the top one that's sponsored by Mojang, like The Island and those things, you're just not selling a lot of copies. And so it's really hard to make a lot of profit when there's so much competition all at the same time in your genre. And so I think that's why the publisher didn't want any. They got a lot of books out already. Doing some more, yeah, probably not. And I got to tell you, I wasn't upset because I've written a lot of Minecraft books, and I was a little tired of writing them. And I just didn't want to take an old idea and repackage it, and instead of have it being the zombies invading, make it the withers invade. That's kind of cheesy. And I always want to give my readers the best product I can. And to do that, it needs to be original. And so I just didn't have a lot of new ideas anymore. So that's why I'm not doing those anymore. Will I write a Minecraft book series about Null, asks Alexander. I'm looking at my monitor over here, just so you know. That was probably going to be the villain. If I was going to do Game Night and Watcher together, probably the villain was going to be Null. That was kind of my plan. Andy asks, why are the NPC names based on jobs? Well, my background is I was a teacher for a long time, and then I worked as a physicist and an engineer. And I have an engineering mind, and I like systems that make sense. And so when I wanted to come up with the names, I wanted a logical sort of reason why they're named. I don't want to just call him Bob, right? I mean, how would a blacksmith know to be called Bob? So I thought if a blacksmith suddenly was awakened by some artificial intelligence software that infected the server, what would the blacksmith think his name is? Well, I figured it's probably Blacksmith. And that's how I came up with Smithy. And that's why Crafter is Crafter, because he's a crafter. And so that's kind of how I brought those up. I thought that was a really clever idea until I wanted to make more characters, and there's not that many jobs, right? You know, there's only so many people you can mention. And so kind of ran out of names very quickly. That made it hard. Let's see. James asks, have I been on the Game Night 2K server? So the Game Night 2K server is what spawned up after my server, the Game Night 999 server, was shut down. I shut it down because there was so much griefing going on. It became really expensive to repair the server, to write software to stop people from doing what they were doing, to have software written to detect hacked clients and keep them from doing bad things. And it just got too expensive and way too time consuming, and I just couldn't afford to do it anymore. And so I had to shut it down. But then the administrators who were on the Game Night server started their own server, the Game Night 2K server, and that's what they did. And I saw it when they first started, and I really haven't been on there for like a year, so I should probably go back and see. Maybe I'll do that. Andy asks, is Game Night as good in Minecraft as he is in the books? Well, he's pretty good in PvP. Whenever we play, he always kills me. But he is not a super awesome Minecraft god like people think. You know, he's just a character in a book. What I will say is he's really good at redstone. And whenever I had a redstone contraption that I wanted to have in the book, I would have my son build it first to make sure it worked. Like, there's a big battle at the end of Destruction of the Overworld, where Hero Brian is a dragon, I think. That was a long time ago. Yeah, I think so. And so I had to build a fortress with lots of redstone defenses on it. And so I made things that would, dispensers that would shoot water out, and then I would do, I had mine carts that would shoot through openings that would open in the walls, and the minecart would have TNT in it, and it would go out, and there'd be a redstone track to trigger it and blow up a bunch of people. I really liked this one. He made a piston with a slime block on it that would shoot, let's see, the TNT got shot out and got lit and landed on the slime block, and then the piston would shoot, and it would shoot the TNT up in the air, and then it would blow up. And so we spent a lot of time figuring out the timing so that that was actually a doable defense. And then that got added into the story. And so all those things, whenever there's a redstone contraption, it's something that we always built because I wanted it to be real. I didn't want it to be we built a redstone, airplane and flew across the overworld or something, I wanted to have it be realistic to Minecraft. Let's see. Andy asks, is the digitizer real? Well, bad news, Andy. It is not real. I made that up for the books. It would be cool if you could digitize yourself and go into a game. I don't know how cool it would be to digitize yourself and go into Minecraft and see a giant spider come running after you. I don't think that'd be a lot of fun. But no, it is not real, sadly. Mr. Mustachios is the last question. He asks, how did I handle ending the Minecraft series and move in a totally new direction? Well, first of all, Mr. Mustachio, thank you for the really nice letter. You said some really nice things in your email, and I really appreciate that. But as I mentioned, I didn't want to recycle new ideas, and I wanted to create something new. I really enjoy creating. And so I had been thinking about giants for a long time, and fantasy. I love fantasy. Right now I'm reading Cassandra Clare's City of Bones. Really fantastic book. And I wanted to do something in fantasy, so I looked in the fantasy part of Amazon, and I saw wizards and dragons and werewolves and vampires and demons and, you know, all of the typical things you see in a fantasy book, and I wanted to make something different. And so I thought about, what could I do that's really different? And I thought, maybe giants. There's nothing about giants. You always hear giants are evil things that are, 80 feet tall. Well, what if a giant is really, 10 or 12 feet tall, and they have their own society and they have their own history? And so that's what I wrote about. I shifted from Minecraft and I moved over to giants. And I was happy I did it because I think the book really turned out well. However, a lot of Minecraft fans out there will say, I don't want to read about giants. Well, if you really enjoy the action and adventure and suspense that are in my Minecraft books, then you're going to love The Giant's Giant, because there's really some great stuff in there. Some really exciting battles, some very suspenseful scenes, and I think you'll really like that. So you ought to give it a chance. If you go to my website, markcheverton.com, you can click on I Want Some Books and sign up for my email list and get a free copy of 3 Minecraft short stories. But also you can get a copy of Theft of the Giant Soul, which was the first Giants book that I ever wrote. And that really came out well. That's a full-length novel. It's 250 pages or so. You can read it on your computer. But it is really a good book, and it's very exciting. And if you like my Minecraft books, you're going to like Theft of the Giant Soul. So you should check it out. I mean, besides, what's better than giants with warhammers smashing monsters, right? I mean, right? So that's all the questions. If anybody else has questions, you should feel free to email me through my website, markcheverton.com. I always answer emails that are sent to me. Just make sure you spell your address correctly so that I can reply. Bye.